in my headphones.
Yo.
Get some ad-libs going. This damn thing. Rocking and rolling. Episode 42 of the TFW podcast. That's freaking wrestling. Welcome. Hello. What's up? Whatever greetings and salutations you want to use. We are in the building for this episode. Once again, 42. 42 of them things will be done in like the next hour or so. We said we don't have much to talk about. Let's see how long this podcast is. Typically, we usually go about an hour, 40, 45 minutes. Let's see what this one goes. I am your host, Matt. Always lock and loaded with these two great, fantastic folks. Rhodesia, Eshaun. Give me some.
This is about to be so cliche, but I'm ready to talk some wrestling because we just had some really great shows here that I really cannot get off my seat and shout to the top of the rooftops how great of these shows that we had here in Chicago. So I do want to talk wrestling, and I say that every week, but I really, really, really mean it now.
I'm a little conflicted mentally, guys, because today is my son's 5th birthday, and it brings a tear to my eye because I remember when I just hold him in one hand, and today he told me like, "Daddy, high five now." So big day for me, and also our Detroit Pistons and got a new shooting guard today. Got some good stuff going on with this great wrestling.
We did. The draft is actually going on as we speak, so I'm hoping by the time we get done with the podcast, I look up and Trey Reaver has pulled one of his great trades out of his ass or something. I was not happy when we went from having the worst record in the league, I think 18 wins last year, to dropping all the way to 5th.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So let's see.
Hey, but you know what also is crazy?
What's
My
that?
two favorite players in the NBA are on the same team. Steph Curry and CP3 on the same team. It's going to be a great year for the NBA.
Talk about storylines. There's been some storylines already.
Yeah.
In the NBA offseason, and we got a long way to go. Long summer to go.
I can't wait to see that boxing match between Draymond and CP3 this year.
Well, happy birthday to Little E for sure. Let's get into it, guys. Oh, before we get into wrestling news, let me get the plugs out of the way first and me ask you guys to do things for us. Hit the follow button on that device you are listening to right now, so you are subscribed to the podcast. Follow us on Twitter at That's FNW. And then on YouTube, we put our full episodes up over the weekend at That's Freaking Wrestling. Speaking of That's Freaking Wrestling, start the pod by saying 42 of them things will be locked and loaded, done by the time we're done with this podcast. Big news for the future of this podcast. We are expanding to 2 shows a week starting on Sunday, July 2nd. We'll be moving to 2 pods a week. We'll be dropping on Sundays and on Wednesdays.
I'm getting closer and closer to this pay raise. Let's go. Keep on talking about it.
Go ahead.
Yes,
That pay raise you keep talking about
Yes.
is within reach.
Yes.
For Rhodesia. Yes. So hopefully you guys are excited as we are for bringing you more content. It just made sense, of course, at this point. Hey, full transparency, peek behind the curtain. We typically never really talk about SmackDown in depth because by the time you guys hear it, it's a week past for the most part. With all these shows, now we have Collision on Saturday. We don't want to wait until Thursday to talk about Collision with WWE PLEs being on Saturday nights. A Sunday pod makes perfect sense to be able to talk SmackDown, PLEs, Collision. And then, of course, on Wednesday, we can hit you guys with Raw Talk, with AEW pay-per-views, and whatever news that hits for the week. So hopefully you guys are super excited. Thank you guys, day ones that have listened to us from episode 1. If this is the first time you listen to us, shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for coming along on this journey. But yes, so that is in 2 weeks, right? July 2nd. That's actually the day after Money in the Bank will be our first official Sunday pod. And then we are rocking and rolling every Sunday and every Wednesday. So Let's start with WWE conversation. I know, E, you were ecstatic and super excited to talk about, speaking of SmackDown, that incredible finish that we saw with the Bloodline. I'm going to assume completely imploding, however you want to say it. Go ahead, man. Take it away. Give it to us.
Yes, sir, guys. That was an amazing show we saw last Friday. Bloodline exploded. I like anything that starts with the E, so I'm going to use exploded. We saw, hell yeah, we got to go with the E's. E's all day. But check this out. It was a really nicely done segment. Great storytelling, right? Jay started off, with the promo, talking to Jimmy about the trip they've been on. How he's been the second twin. Jimmy was the prime king. He was the most likely to succeed. And Jay created this whole scenario and story that he was ready to step outside of his shadow and be the true right hand man and the quote unquote future tribal chief. He looked at Jimmy and said, "Look, bro, you out." And he said, "You know what? I'm out too." Turned around, wow, super kick, heard around the world to Roman Reigns. Solo looked on and he got 2 foots in his face. It's like my kids say. They don't say super kick. They say, "Hey, Dad, you give him the foot." That's what they call my super foot. They got 2 foots. He got 2 foots to the face. Roman Reigns gets up off the ground. He gets 2 more foots to his face to start this amazing ride that we're on, guys. So my question to you guys were, how'd you feel about the segment? And more importantly, what's next? Where are we going with this whole thing?
I feel like y'all or Matt or you ask this like almost every single week. Like, where are we going to go next? Man, I don't know, but I'm so for the ride. Like, did we know this was going to happen? Yes, we knew that. Again, I'm still from the school of thought that I think he's going to drop the titles this year. But man, like, I'm just every week.
But did we know it was going to happen on Friday? I'm
No.
going to say no.
No, I'm going to say no.
was
I'm going to say no.
Not at all.
Yeah,
I'm going to say no.
I'm like, okay, they're going to add something to
Something
the
had to
story,
happen, though. Something had to happen.
Damn.
Yep.
I didn't think it would be that. Not our
Man.
well. I guess yes and no, because hell, weeks ago I said that I thought we would get the tag match at Money in the Bank, and I thought we would get a Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam. I'm starting to pull back a tiny bit on the Fatal 4-Way. We'll see how the tag match goes.
Are you saying that because of time or just the match itself?
I'm saying that because of the way it played out last week on SmackDown. Like, the Usos are pretty much lockstep together.
Yeah, look like they're choosing sides
Solo.
already.
Yeah, so I don't know how you turn that into a Fatal 4-Way match. Maybe we get Jay and Roman already at SummerSlam. But I think, once again, they did it again. 10 out of 10, right?
Right, exactly.
100% investment, execution. Jay on the mic is gold. And neither one of them were big promo guys back in the day.
Not at all.
It just shows with this storyline and just how comfortable they are now doing everything on camera. But if I think about this match at Money in the Bank, this match is huge. Mm-hmm. And it's a tag match for nothing but what they're calling it, the Bloodline Civil War. Think about that.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It's going to be another. Cool. Yeah, so we're going to have 2 Money in the Bank matches on this card. We're going to have at least 1 championship match. And that match is going to main event again. And I don't think anybody will argue it shouldn't be in the main event. It should absolutely be in the main event.
I mean, if you're a Bloodline hater, how are you making it during this time? Are you just not watching like WWE right now?
Or you're not. You can act like you are. It's like I see so many people on social media talking about, I'm over this. It's like, all right, sure you are.
Yeah.
It's impossible for you to be over it. I can understand maybe it's not your complete cup of tea. Maybe you are somebody who, for just some reason, you are not a massive Roman Reigns fan. Okay, then maybe this could be a little tiring with him not showing up a lot and still having the title. But ever since they introduced this other belt with Seth, WWE's really clicking. We can nitpick. Of course, there's still some things that are not fully right. And I still kind of point to the women's division with that. But we see just how quickly Raw has gotten better because there's a top belt, which now makes a top star besides Cody on that brand. And I think that you can really tell the difference for that. So I'm here for it. Like I said, I loved it. I thought it was incredible. I didn't expect us to get that much of the story all in one night like we did. And that was the icing on the cake. Because there were some other really good things, too, in that show. But, I mean, they're doing some awesome stuff. I don't give a damn if Vince is still. I know Ricochet came out today. I guess he had an interview and he made a comment about Vince is, like, still really in charge, really in creative. I don't think he used the word in charge, but he said that everything is kind of ran through him. He's available to talk to, et cetera, et cetera. I don't give a damn because what I'm seeing on my TV is worlds better than what I was getting when Vince was quote unquote head of creative. So whatever they got going on, it's working. Cool. Keep that. Please and thank you.
I gotta look, if you got fans out here and you're not into this Bloodline story, then I'm gonna go ahead and say it, you're not a real wrestling fan and you gotta figure your life out.
I kind of feel that same way too.
Like it's like if you are a fan of wrestling, you should be able to appreciate this regardless, because your favorite wrestler in any promotion is appreciating what we're seeing in Bloodline. So you should too, and get off your high horse. But speaking of figuring some things out, I got a question. And this is just, I'm talking to my friends. Matt goes on Twitter on this podcast all the time and says,
what I did.
What you do?
Now do you see why?
Oh, hell
it makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect
for
sense.
Roman Reigns
Let him know,
to have the championship in this moment. So for me, I'm gonna let you have it. I just want to understand as a friend, so we have a conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm indifferent towards it. Like I don't think him having the title hurts the storyline or even helps the storyline, to be honest with you. But why do you think that him having the championship as the story is continuing, why do you think it helps, or why do you think it makes so much sense?
That's a great question. To me, it's very, very simple. It's showing Roman in any type of peril. Leading up to WrestleMania, just watching TV, not knowing or not thinking, hey, it's Cody's time. Why is it Cody's time? Because that's the story they're telling. I'm strictly talking about what we saw every single week on television. Roman was never in peril in the storyline with Cody Rhodes. We remember the promo Roman gave to Cody when they first hooked up in the ring. Raked Cody through the coals. Right? He played him and basically just said that, hey, I was your dad's favorite, and whatever he didn't teach you, I'm going to teach you. Doesn't sound like somebody who's worried about losing. They gave Cody a couple really strong weeks of TV, but it was really nothing against Roman. He beat Solo, gave Solo, I think, his only pinfall defeat on TV up to this point still. But other than that, between Roman and Cody, it just really felt like the beginning of the story and nowhere close to the end. If you guys remember, I came on the pod and said, hey guys, I just figured it out. Roman's not losing that Mania. And it was because of kind of these things that we were seeing, besides the part of they tried to get Austin said no. They tried to get Rock said no. And it's like, well, if they weren't going to win the title, then you're not going to put the title on Cody right now. But for me, this story needs the belt because you're talking about the head of the table. How can Roman be the head of the table, if he's not the champion? So say if Roman would have lost to Cody at WrestleMania, what we saw on SmackDown last week would not have had the same effect because we've seen this man lose now. That bulletproof armor is gone. So him getting 2 super kicks would be like, oh, okay, this is what they're doing. The reason why it hit so hard when we saw that on Friday was because, damn, when have we seen Roman in this predicament in the last 3 years? And yeah, there were times where he was feuding with somebody that you thought maybe this is the time they're going to take the belt off of him. We've seen him in a position where, against Sammy, where you're like, damn, I know Mania is coming up and I know the story is Cody and Roman, but damn, is it a chance that Sammy could beat Roman because the story made sense. And there was some other, times too in the last 2.5, 3 years or so. But for me, that's why. It's because you're telling the story of he's the head of the table. You're telling the story of he is at the top of the mountain. He is God mode. He is untouchable. Everything that he does, he's a manipulator. He makes everything around him the way he wants it. And now 2 of his people are turning their backs on him. It doesn't have the same effect if he lost the belt 2 months ago, because now you're kind of just like, all right, well, the bloodline's over. What's next? And I think, too, because I go back to this has to get to a point where we do get a one-on-one match with Jay and Roman. Not saying Jay's got to beat him. But for me, this story would nowhere near be complete if Jay does not challenge him for that belt. And we can harken back and show all the video footage from 2.5 years ago where Jay grabs the belt and Roman's looking at him. And he has that shocked, worried look on his face. And then Jay hands him the belt. And we, show Alpha and Sika, putting the lay on him. And we just kind of tell that story again. That's all there for us. But that's why I think it is so important for those belts to still be in play. And now if you want to talk about inside baseball, behind the curtain, et cetera, would you at least agree, E, at this point, that Cody is a bigger face than he was March 30th, a couple months ago before Mania?
Yeah, I would agree.
Mission accomplished.
Well,
and that's how I feel.
My answer is not as thought out as yours. Mine is purely who was going to take the titles off of Roman, who was deserving for it. I had Drew back at last fall, and I thought he was going to take her last September, August, whatever that was. And I thought, I actually never thought it was Sammy. For a second, maybe for Sammy, but I knew that Sammy wasn't going to be a good champion. And that's probably really mean to say, but I just don't think that that's what we want to see Sammy as, that long term. We talked about this last week, Jay being the champion more than 90 days type of thing. Yeah, I know Sammy could have did that for 90 days, but long term, no. So for me, I'm not on the fence. I do believe that Roman should still have the titles. And it's just simply because who was going to take it from him? Who was deserving of it? Okay, maybe Cody. But again, to the point where now Cody is more important today than he was back on March 30th or May 30th or whatever, March 30th. So that did his job there. I didn't think anybody else was deserving to take the titles.
And people are going to try to play it like it's not. When Cody does get crowned, boy, oh boy, would that moment be more special than anything they could have done this past WrestleMania.
I remember them booing Cody WrestleMania weekend.
Everybody now is invested in Cody. Not just people who know about AEW and know about the Stardust. And from what we can see, they picked up a lot of newer wrestling fans. These wrestling crowds, and hell, they are in Lafayette. If you listen to this on Friday, my God, Lafayette, Louisiana, please show up tonight for SmackDown.
They will.
You got one job.
You
see something good, react.
They will.
You see something you don't like, boo. Just don't sit there on your hands. We've had a string of really, really strong WWE crowds over the last few weeks. But I think they've tapped into a new fan base recently, and I think a lot of that has to do with the Bloodline. So now even those fans who, like I said, they were too young for Stardust, or maybe they weren't watching back then, or they don't watch AEW, now they're going to be just as invested come next year, if Mania is where we crown Cody, as we all are as hardcore fans that were there for Stardust, that was there for knowing that he wanted to get rid of that gimmick. WWE said no, so he went out and worked every single indie he could and turned ROH into something bigger. And they made AEW. And now he's back home to WWE. And we're excited for him. But I think a big part of that fan base, he's Cody. Okay, he's a face. Everybody else is cheering him, so I'm going to cheer him too. But they don't have the emotional investment they do now. And I think that's only going to grow more and more as we get closer to when they do crown him. And when they do, man, all hell's going to break loose in a good way.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that Cody just naturally would have gotten better and more crowded as he got better and better with the crowd as he went on. Why not? I mean, he's very likable, earnest guy. It's a great story. But just to summarize, so pretty much you're saying that Roman Reigns, he ain't SHEET, sheet. without the championships. Like the only thing that makes Roman Reigns is him having the championships. So without him, he's nothing. The storylines that he's in means nothing. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, and I disagree. I think that the storyline could have been the same as it is with without the titles. This is why I say I'm indifferent towards it. I understand the story, and it's very logical. But I think the story could have been told in the same way without the championships. Because as of right now, we're talking about he hasn't defended the championship since he's with Cody in April. Mm-hmm. And we're about to go into July, probably August, and he still hasn't defended the championship.
But Brock didn't defend his championships either.
And I wasn't high on his run either, to be honest with you. Like he could have got them titles off. I
was really mad at that time.
I'm not hating on Roman. I'm fine with him being the champion because he's still a favorite of mine. I think that Roman as champion, and I get the Brock thing. I think that Roman brings a lot more to the table than Brock did as a champion. And I'm not hating on Brock, but I disliked his run. I don't say I disliked it. I was more indifferent. So I like Roman's reign. I think it's fine. But going back to it, he hasn't really defended the title. So what's happening right now in the past 4 to 6 months, that we're going into this thing with him as champion and this bloodline exploding, it's not about the championship, right? We even can go back to the 1,000-day title reign. Right? The celebration wasn't what we walked out of that segment remembering. It was the turn. That's what we remember. The title in this moment hasn't been pushed up to at any point in this whole feud. So for me, Roman Reigns is bigger than the title at this point, as he should be.
I think it's twofold, though. I think, one, you are taking care of the record books. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Bianca cleared when she went 365 plus days. She is going to be now that standard bearer in the record books. Roman is clearing all these old names that we aren't going to be hearing about now after Roman, because now Roman's going to be that top dog on there. Who knows when he loses it, wherever that looks like. But the second part of it is this entire storyline is Bloodline head of the table. You can't be the head of the table if you're not a champion, if you don't have the gold. That's when the head of the table started. It wasn't like he came back as a heel and he started calling himself the head of the table. Then he got the belt. It was after he got the belt. So in order for the head of the table to be a thing and the storyline they're going, and they could have changed the storyline. The storyline they went with over the last 2 weeks with him and Jay was, hey, I'm the head of the table now. We're grooming you to be the head of the table, but you got to fall in line first. I guess what we can do is, if you wanted to armchair book or, Monday morning quarterback book with how we would have got here with him losing at Mania. If you have an idea, shoot it. I don't know what that would be. I would have to kind of think about it. But I think this is the best course of action for everybody involved. And hell, we can see with ticket sales and ratings that people are invested for sure.
So for the both of y'all, when it comes to who would have, because y'all are in the internet more than I am, who are the fans saying, or the wrestling community saying they would want it to been the champion? Was it Sammy? Is it Cody? Is it Drew? Because everybody keeps saying that he shouldn't have the title.
Majority is Cody.
Who would he drop it to? Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody say it should be. When it was time, yes. Like in September, it was Drew. In February, it was Sammy. Right now, we could have accomplished this, and still giving Cody the belts at WrestleMania. And also, now let's not forget the new belt that Seth has was not the original plan. The original plan was to split the titles up, and somebody nixed it in creative, and that's how we got to these championship belts. And that was the plan. I want to say like in January was to split the belts. Yeah. So it wasn't like
for a while they've been trying to do
it. Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, this is WrestleMania Night 1 decision and we pulled back on it. It was supposed to have been done months ago. So we've also got to kind of look at that too, because if that's the case, we're probably not even having this conversation. Maybe you do anoint Cody at Mania, but I still have a feeling that still wouldn't have happened. I still think they're playing the long game with Cody because they know that they have somebody who can carry the company. And I love Seth. Absolutely love Seth. He did some great stuff. I asked you guys about what he did on NXT if you guys watched it. But Cody is a bigger star than Seth Rollins is.
I agree.
So I still think Seth would have maybe got that second title. Or maybe it would have been Drew. Hell, if we're talking about going all the way back to like January, that makes everything look different on the road to WrestleMania. But I just think they're doing everything perfect with Cody. I think he's doing his part. I think they're putting him in an incredible position. And then likewise, I think they're doing everything perfect with the Bloodline. I think everybody's playing their part perfectly. Like I said, when you can have a main event, now 2 shows in a row, and yes, Roman's involved, but when there's no title involved, you got a gimmick show like Money in the Bank. Though neither one of those are going to main event, and we're going to main event with a tag team match, and we can look back and say this is probably the biggest match they can put on right now in WWE. I think that match is bigger than right now if they was to do a rematch with Cody and Roman for this show. I think the Bloodline tag match is a bigger match than that.
That's not quite, but that's not quite fair because you would have had those months to build to a Cody and Roman rematch. But we talking about titles. Why didn't Roman get the message that when he got a new title, the other 2 should be relinquished? Why is he now rocking 3 titles? Like for real, like everybody else turned in their other belt. You had Charlotte pointing at the old one, but everybody else turned in their titles. Roman is now he's rocking all of them.
Though. I think it fits the gimmick, though.
It absolutely fits the gimmick.
I think it fits the gimmick. Like, no, this is mine. These are all mine. Like,
they're all mine.
I think it fits. But I mean, I'm with you. Like, I think that I think the WrestleMania, as I always say, terrible finish. But I think it's working out. But I think it could have been fine either way. I mean, what's happening, it's playing out is fine. I think if Cody won and we got Roman in, with the infighting, it would have been fine as well. So it's working out fine. It's fine either way.
And I think we said it a couple weeks ago, but here it is, June 22nd, and we are still having deep dive conversations about a finish that happened 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. That is incredible when the product is doing great. Now, if we would have had that finish and the product went in the shitter and everybody stopped watching and nobody enjoyed anything they were seeing, that's a different kind of, if we were having a WCW type conversation, we're like, oh man, remember the finger poke of doom?
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, that was when it really hit the fan. But we're not having that conversation. We're having a conversation of, hey, things are still going great, but what if? And we just haven't had that type of dialogue in years and years and years, which is great. I mean, it's fantastic.
Hey, you know what? One thing, Matt, when you're talking about Vince being involved in creative, I'm starting to be okay with that, right? And I think that Vince is letting others have more input on creative is what we might be getting this time around, right? Because before, it was very, very Vince heavy. It was Vince's way or no way. I think he's allowing others to do their jobs, to give ideas, especially on the smaller bits of the pieces, like, some of the lower card stuff. So I think we're getting a higher level creative because he's giving more people input into the product. I'm hoping I'm right because, again, I still don't feel as good about creative as I did when he wasn't there. Like, right? However, it's not, the shows aren't what they were 3 years ago.
So to be fair, 2 weeks ago on Raw, they said that he heavily changed some things. Show was great.
That was a great show still.
This past Monday, Seth was supposed to have an open challenge. Word on line was it was to go against Ciampa, not Gargano. They were in Cleveland. Vince nixed it and went with the Finn beatdown of Seth. That is worlds better for where we're going with Finn and Seth with a pay-per-view 2 weeks out where the fans screwed over the promo segment from the previous week's Raw where they kept singing Seth's song and Finn was trying to get out that impassioned promo. Hey, he was right again. So I think what we could be seeing is they're not writing the shows to appease Vince. I think they're writing the shows for best case scenario, and if Vince sees something he doesn't like, he switches it. That's the difference that we're seeing. Because we heard for years in creative, well, we're just writing what we know Vince wants, because all he's going to do is tear it up and make us rewrite it anyway. So why go through that when we can just write what we know he's going to like, and that's what's presented on TV? I think that's the difference.
You know, that's how it worked back in the original Attitude Era when Vince, Russo, and then Ferrara were writing for the company, right? Like, they wrote the shows with Vince. Vince was the ultimate editor, right? And he made things make sense or took things out, you know, because that's what he does best. I mean, he's very good at big picture things, right? I can't deny that. So hopefully, maybe that's what we're getting right now. It's just, as you said, like, he has a better, script that he's looking at that he can kind of self-edit versus, as you said, people making a script specifically for what they think he likes, right? They're trying to create the best show. Vince is taking that script, saying, no, let's do this, let's do that. The show's been fine.
Before we leave the bloodline and storylines and all that, I had to pull it up because I did not know about the finger poke of doom.
Oh my God!
Finger poke of doom.
Is this
so
the
my
Rhodesia's
yes, it
Google
is
segment right here? Hold on a
yes,
second.
it is.
Let me look. Hold on. We're gonna do this in real time. Let me look.
Oh Lord.
Let me look.
I'm a
real
stutter over
quick.
all these words I'm trying to read.
Nah, you ain't gonna stutter over it. Let me look. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Let's try this one. That's a little too like fast, but like here is the Rhodesia Google moment of the week, and then it's going like boom or something like that. We got to figure that out, but
Yeah, and it's the Wikipedia moment, not the Google moment.
Okay, my bad.
So
Wikipedia.
okay. Anywho's, so for those who were not watching WCW in January of 1999, it looks like this is where Hogan finger pokes Nash in the chest. It looks like, and he sails it and falls and get pinned. Is that what it is? Is that what happened?
Yep.
So you took the pin off of allegedly him hitting his pressure point.
No,
right.
It was no. They were in cahoots together, but we didn't know they were in cahoots before the match. So they built the match up. Finger point of doom. Hogan gets the title from Nash, and that turns so many people off on the product.
But wait. So, but everyone. So then people knew that the finger poke was just a gimmick. Like this was nothing to it.
Because the way Nash sold it like he got shot, and then they both got up together, laughed, smiled, and left. Yeah.
And you said that's when people stopped watching WCW.
Oh, that was
it
like
one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons. Yeah, it was one of the big reasons people would point to.
It wasn't the first nail in the coffin. But it damn sure may have been the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah. WCW started doing a lot of things wrong creatively around this time period. That was just one of the big reasons why they were turning people off. But, I got to be honest, this is one day we have to deep dive. Maybe since we're going to switch over to 2 shows, we can start talking about, we can do like a watch party on some of these shows, some of these events from the past, which might be good for Rhodesia because she hasn't seen anything. I mean, she's only 10 years old, like when half the stuff was on. So I get it. But I got to be honest with you guys. Fans, friends, Matt, I didn't think it was that big a deal when I watched it in real time. I watched it. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I was actually happy that they actually brought the team back together because it was a Rhodesia to put it kind of like in full circle. The NWO had splintered off in 2 different groups. They had the NWO Black and White led by Hogan and the NWO Red and Black led by Kevin Nash. Okay. It was a stinker. This was their kind of way to kind of bring them back together, give the title back to Hogan because Kevin Nash had it for some time. I thought it was fine. I thought it accomplished that goal, but people hated it. So we can kind of deep dive that. Maybe one day we can do a rewatch or something like that for the pod.
Spoiler alert. I didn't think it was that bad either.
Oh,
I didn't. But you know why? I wasn't invested in WCW at that time. Like, the time where I was invested was Black and White, NWO, early Wolfpack time. That was like the time where I was emotionally invested, like Goldberg at his highest run. Toward that, I would still just watch to kind of keep up with it. But by that time, Austin was on top, Rock was on top, Taker was running things. Like, okay, whatever. I got my emotional investment fixed on WWE. But when I watched it, I was like, that's just crazy. Wow. And like, that was it. But it was a big thing. It was a real big thing.
Oh, gosh.
So we talked about Seth. Rhodesia, you watched it with me. E, did you watch NXT on Tuesday, Seth against Braun Breaker?
Nope. I got past 20 minutes and was knocked out.
Really good match.
Mm-hmm. And
Seth-
Braun,
Go ahead.
I gotta plug Braun's beard for a second. It
Oh.
looks great on him. It looks great on him. He needs to keep it. But go ahead, Matt.
Next
I'm sorry.
week,
I'm partial to somebody who has beards.
Well, and we know, especially if you're a heel, a beard adds a lot to your look. As Finn, as Austin Theory, it adds a lot to your look.
Even
But
to
the match,
TFW show, huh?
the match was really, really strong. Really, really strong. The rating was strong too. I think for that match, they had like over 900,000 viewers. They popped the biggest rating they popped since like 2020 overall. I think they were in the eights.
That's sweet.
800,000 plus. Yep. But reason why I wanted to bring it up was because I thought it was a great usage of Seth. He had a backstage promo with Trick and Carmelo, which was fun. He had another backstage promo.
I forgot that guy's name. Oh, like not Ultimate Dragon or whatever. I
forgot who it was. But yep. So they used him really well in that. And then the match with Braun was really, really strong. Seth can have a great match. Looks like with anybody. He may be like the modern day Shawn Michaels in that aspect. But I just wanted to bring that up because where does Braun go from here? So Braun has basically lost every match since he's turned heel. He lost against Melo. He lost against Seth. I don't know like where he goes. He was on Raw Monday, cut a hell of a backstage promo. I saw people complain about that too. Why fly him in for 45-second promo? Because
what do you mean?
Like, why are you worried about that?
What do you mean?
Is that what we're complaining about
now? You don't know
now?
what he was doing backstage that they may have wanted him there. Maybe they're getting acclimated to what Mondays look like. Shut up. Like, that's the part that gets to me is like, we stop being so critical on every little thing. It's your fault you hyped yourself up because you read something online that said Braun Breaker's on Raw. They never advertised Braun Breaker on Raw. So
they worked themselves in the shoot.
Yeah, worked themselves in a big time shoot.
And why would they fly him in? Because they got the money.
Right.
Like, seriously.
Them dudes got a $100 billion contract.
I do wonder where they go with him from here. Because he's fought now the world champion. You keep him in NXT? Do you now transition him to the main roster? But he's doing some good work also as a heel. I don't ever want to see. I don't want to see face Braun for another 5 years.
I agree.
NXT, like I said, I'm trying to watch it more often, but it's definitely a good show. I really enjoy it right now. Like I said, this is a far cry from when they got rid of my beloved NWO. I mean, in NXT Black and Gold
2.0
brought that 2.0.
Horrendous.
But man, this is a really good show. It's still not perfect. Like I still think some of these promos are overly scripted and sound like it's like they're reading like a High School Musical or something like that. But the actual man, and let me tell you something, like the Chase U stuff, like Thea Hale. I saw that. I love Thea Hale. Like she is so into that character. Yeah, you see her stuff.
She commits 100%.
Man, she's 100%. And that's when you got somebody with 100% buy-in. I love that. As a former actor, I love that. And then Duke Hudson also is another character. And when they put him in there, I was like, I don't know what they're doing with him. But he actually fits it. I love him as a character. No, the whole thing really, really works. I really enjoy the show.
So are you watching weekly? Or close? Like, are you keeping tabs on it?
I try to. Like, so on Tuesday, I try to watch it. I end up falling asleep. I usually can't get back to it until probably Saturday, after, like in between like transition with the kids, etc. But it's definitely on my must watch list. So I get to see most of the shows every week. I also try to watch Impact for Trinity, and I can't get into Impact. But keeping on NXT, really good show.
So then, about a month ago, you had brought up on the pod, you felt like something was off with Melo. He was missing something. Something wasn't connecting. It's been probably close to now 4 weeks or so. You feeling the same way, or you feel differently?
I don't like them together as a face. I actually don't like them right now. It's not. I'm just, like them together as faces isn't working for me. Man, it's not working.
Okay.
I'm like, indifferent with Carmelo.
Because I like Trick and Melo together, but like, why does a babyface champion need a second? Like, it's just not working as currently instituted. Yeah. But I mean, I like them together. I hope that they turn them back heel and we get that big heel run. But yeah, I'm still think he's missing something, Matt.
So then, Rhodesia, you say you're indifferent about it. Were you indifferent when he was a heel?
I'm gonna probably say no, or maybe not quite. I'm just still indifferent because I really thought that Carmelo and Braun was coming up to the main roster after Mania. So I'm still kind of in that holder. I'm kind of in that holding pattern now. Like, okay, so I didn't think he was going to win the championship because I thought he was going to move up. So that's kind of where, yeah, I guess it's the timing. I don't know necessarily if it's because he's a face where I'm indifferent about him, just more so of I thought he was going to be a main roster.
But the work you're seeing from him, are you indifferent to what you're seeing from him?
No, I think he's really good in the ring, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I watch all his matches fully and intently, so that wouldn't be fair for me to give my input on that. But from what I've seen, he's a great worker. He's great on the mic.
Got you. All right. Mm-hmm. Well, so then one thing you can give your opinion on, because you've watched all of it, we skipped over it last week. I don't even think we brought it up last week. It's Dominic Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes. Their feud now has been going for a few weeks. We know we're getting that match at Money in the Bank here July 1st, right? July 1st. Saturday. Mm-hmm. What's your guys' thoughts on Dom versus Cody?
I don't care. Ooh, sorry. Sorry.
Okay. So are you more like, or are you more like?
More of the latter.
Okay. So you're crickets.
I'm kind of crickets, yeah.
Interesting.
Again, it feels
interesting.
Like they're trying to figure something out with Cody.
Let me tee this up.
Yes.
You love Dom's work as a heel.
Love it.
You're a big fan of Cody and his work.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Despite what Eshaun says, I am.
Don't care about them together. That is really interesting. Because I understand, but that is really interesting.
She's not a big fan of Cody. That's why.
I am a big fan of Cody. Mm-hmm. To me, it's like, okay, so let's book this out. Cody should beat Dominic Mysterio. Without a doubt. Now, of course, if something happens in Judgment Day, which is probably about to implode themselves, but if Judgment Day or Rhea comes in and, does something funky, then okay, sure. Then then Dominic can win. But to me, again, it's like this believable match. Like, Dominic, you don't stand a chance against Cody. So to me, this part is maybe why some people are like, Cody should have been a champion because we wouldn't have this kind of a match. But to me, it's just crickets to me. I'm going to watch it because I think what they both put out equally is entertaining, but it does nothing for me. It's just a simple match to fill a Money in the Bank card.
And is it because you feel like there is no chance, you give Dom no chance?
Not to win fair.
Okay, but is that the reason why?
I don't know if I have a true reason why, other than I just feel like this is just something that they put together for Cody. I don't know what each person get out of it. I don't know what people get out of it.
She's not that invested in Cody as a character, so she doesn't want to see him just mollywop Dominic, who she thinks has no chance of winning. Which she's absolutely right, but at the same time, I mean, that's Dominic's character. Like who does he really have a chance against? Anybody, right? That's the thing. That's his character, right? He talks big, but he doesn't have a chance.
Matches. Him and Rhea could do mixed tag matches.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the ring with the women. She's in the ring with the men. And then I think we can get it going. But yeah, by himself. But that's what a snarky piece of shit heel is.
You want to see him get his tail tap?
Anybody.
You want to see him get his tail tap?
I like that. Are you invested in the feud?
Oh yeah. I think it's pretty good. I mean, I love Dominic and Rhea together. And I think Dominic is even taking his swarminess to another level when now he actively hides behind Rhea. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, dude, like you ain't no man. He's like, you know what I'm saying? I love that. I mean, I think he's just doing some phenomenal work right now. Of course, Cody is Cody. That's my guy. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. Or I understand what you're saying. Like, definitely Dominic doesn't have a shot. But I think the story and them going back and forth is entertaining.
Is Brandy on anybody's talent? Is she signed to anybody?
No.
Nope.
Brandy can't go anywhere near Cody right now. And I love me some Brandy.
Yeah, no, that's true. You're right. No, you're right, because she's hot in a bad way.
She's a heat magnet.
Yep.
She's a heat magnet. And like, I don't know what it is, but you know, she does come off her character when her character is really good, it comes off very heelish. Mm-hmm. Like when she's really going, it comes off right.
To be fair, that was in AEW. Cody was also getting booed out of the building in AEW toward the end of his run too. Not saying that like, oh, she's going to put him over the top. I think you leave him alone in terms of the presentation. Keep doing what you're doing slowly but surely. So yeah, I agree, but I do think it would be a completely different presentation if she was with him in WWE.
But no, I'm saying as a fan of hers, like I think that ultimately she's best served as a heel. I think that comes more natural to her, the way she speaks and carries herself. I think she comes better as a heel. Now, could she come and side with, with Cody against Rhea? Man, look, again, love me some Brandy, but I haven't seen that ring work yet. And I don't know if Rhea can carry Brandy through a match. I haven't seen a good Brandy match yet. And that's no knock against her because I don't think we talked about it before. I think the ring work sometimes is the last component of what makes a wrestler entertaining or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and but I don't.
And plus, nobody going against Rhea is going to get cheered. Let's just be completely honest on that. Rhea is like, she's supposed to be a bad girl, but everybody loves her.
Yeah, she's cool.
She actually got some heel heat Monday, which was good to see.
You mean she was talking right after Dom?
First time in a long time.
And she did get a little heat. And what did she say again? Do you remember?
I can't remember, but she was already going to get some heat. You could hear because the crowd wasn't popping for her. So that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
I want to talk about something real quick before we jump because I just thought about it when you made the comment about Brandy and her in-ring work. And it's back on NXT and Dana Brooke. So this week
real
she
quick,
was on.
I want to say, for some reason, Rhodesia, I got chills. Like, you seem like so passionate right now. I felt
because it made me mad.
I'm so interested. Go ahead. I'm so interested. Go ahead.
It makes me mad. Like, no one will ever walk away from a Dana Brooke match and saying, oh my God, that is the best match I've seen in my life. No one will, right? I'm not going to sit up here and say that I am either. But some of the stuff that they were saying about her today, like the internet wrestling community can be trash at times. Like they really when I say rake people through the coals, they did. Like they were wishing things like, which is disgusting. I don't know if her injury was a work or a shoot, but people were happy that she got hurt.
Who?
So
what happened?
So Dana.
Yep. Go ahead, Rhodesia.
So Dana had a match this week on NXT, and I was just happy that she came down because for me, at least from what I see, every time they've given something to Dana, she's taken and ran with it. Whether she was a 24/7 champ, whether she was just a jobber.
36-time 24/7 champ.
I see. I didn't even know that much. But
or
again,
close to it. I think it actually was like 16 or 18 times.
Let's go with 87. Let's say 87-time champion.
You know what? This is where, Rhodesia, you bring it back. After you get done, you get on your Google.
But I'm so passionate right now in my conversation right now.
All right.
Okay, let me finish.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so my question, so my question to y'all is like, at what point do we as fans hold ourselves accountable and responsible for just being critical, saying, yeah, that wasn't the best match that I've seen, or the synergy wasn't the best in that match, and then go into the level of people wishing that she really did hurt herself? Like, what do we do about that? Just call those people out on and say that you trash for wishing ill on somebody? Like we got to do better. So I actually don't know how to pose a true question, but just how do y'all feel about like breaking down a person in a scripted show that they write for her, that she's been there for over 10 years? Like, where do we go from here?
I think that they need to get punched in the fucking mouth is the answer. But that's not going to happen because these people won't say that to you to your face. Right? And if you guys follow our Twitter, you know that I am joking 97% of the time. Probably I put tweets out. Maybe 90% because I'll put like some real thoughts on like current state of wrestling on it. But I've had more people, and it's only been maybe a total of 10, right? We've had our Twitter now for a year. I've had more people on Twitter say something disrespectful to me than I have my entire life to my face. Right? Because that's what it is. You would never say that to me face to face. Whatever it is. I've never encountered disrespect to my face somewhere. So these people just they need to get punched in the face. That's not going to happen. And I don't want to get too deep because you guys know I get super, super deep. But whenever I see that, that just speaks to like, damn, your life must really suck.
Right.
And not in a way of me trying to make fun of you by saying that, but for that to come up. Like, and we all know Twitter is all about jokes. I get it. Internet's going to internet. We're going to get these jokes off. I get all that. But even down to like the submarine thing from this week, which, hey, rest in peace to those guys that died today, or they announced they died.
Yeah.
Which all of a sudden, as soon as they announce they're dead, they start finding pieces of.
I thought that happened after it, though. I thought they found
like
the
hour,
debris first.
Like an hour later.
Okay.
Okay, you couldn't find it yesterday? Whatever, because that's a whole nother we can get. We can deep dive. Yeah. But I saw so many jokes. And I get it, right? I get it. Twitter's going to joke. That's what we do. I get it. I understand that. But there has to be a point, like, I understand they're billionaires. I get all that. But they're still somebody's family member.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, so to your point about Dana Brooke, people, wishing harm on her. For what? Because you think she didn't do a great job in a match? That's like us going to your job and you make a mistake. And like, man, I hope you break your leg when you leave work. Like, what? You'd be like, what kind of psychopath are you? And that's what these people do all the time. So on a deep, deep level, it's like, man, I just hope whatever you're going through, like, you figure it out, because people who lead with negativity, it's like, there's no way your life is good. It's impossible. You can't lead in negativity. Even you want to call them jokes. Oh, I'm just trolling. Okay. You're not, but you don't have a great life. You just don't. It's impossible. This energy is going to come back to you. So when you ask like, hey, what do I feel about it? That's how I feel. I feel like you need to get punched, because you would never say that in front of somebody. Even when you go to wrestling shows and like you hear like snide comments, which shout out to, we'll talk about AEW here in a little bit. Awesome crowds. Both nights, Saturday at Collision and Wednesday at Dynamite. But even then, you're like, man, if you saw that wrestler, you'd be asking for an autograph.
Yep.
Like so that does bother me. But I think that's just the life we live. People, keyboard warriors. I've always said, I wish whenever you said anything online, I swear, I wish this was the case, your address popped up immediately. You need to be held accountable for what you say, good or bad. You know how beautiful life would be if that was the case.
that would be a lot of violence and a lot of like the purge. So never mind. I think we're going down the wrong path here. Eshaun, you have any thoughts on that?
Unfortunately, like that's the case depending on what message board you're in, because your IP address is attached to your username, so people actually can see exactly where you are. Let's find all those IPs then.
No.
If everybody had access to people's IPs, it'd be a different story. But I talked to you guys about it before, just in private, man. Like, look, Twitter isn't real world. It's not real life. Like, for some reason, people get turned up on being negative and saying things out of character. But also, you got to think about the type of person that will even go to say those kind of things for attention. Yeah. Like, right? Like, and I get that Twitter is, it thrives on disrespect, being, a disruptor. Like, those are things that get people play. Even Kevin Durant.
Darnett?
What's going on? Like, it's a really long day. I haven't had my caffeine, so I can't get my names right. Kevin Durant. One of his fans asked, hey, man, they're like, why do you react to all the negative trolls, but you don't react to the positive fans? Mm-hmm. And he said that, hate is what drives them. Too much love will kill you.
Ooh.
Right? That's the world that we live in, unfortunately. Right? Because
but that's negative, lonely too.
Being negative, being a disruptor, being disrespectful is so highly touted in this culture. Like, it's a whole different thing. But these people, I got to be honest with you, man. Like, I feel sorry and I feel bad for you. I'm part of these wrestling modding communities, and there's so many guys that are just so negative about a freaking wrestling game. It's like, this is for fun, and you're coming on here and you're disrespecting yourself and disrespecting other people because of some pixels, because of a mod part or whatever it is. Like, what kind of life do you live that you're so upset about something that's supposed to be fun and special? That's what wrestling's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun and special, and you're getting on Twitter and on internet and you're wishing people harm. Like, no, I wish you well, people. I wish you well. I wish you love. And I wish that you'll get somebody special or feel something special in life, that you can feel whole instead of tearing somebody down. That's what I wish for you people. For all you people, all this negative shit to say, I wish you could find love and happiness in your life. That's what I want for you. But hey, let's talk about love and happiness, guys. I really want to get on Collision. You guys were there. I've been dying to hear your live experience. Give it to me, guys. What you guys got? And by the way, everybody, Matt hates my transitions. I just want to get off this negative topic. I want to talk about some love.
No, that was actually a really good. No, that was actually
I wasn't done with SmackDown.
Transition.
I wasn't done with SmackDown.
Transition.
I wasn't done with SmackDown.
But before we do move on, I do have something real quick, and then Rhodesia, I'll throw it to you because we were talking about love. And you guys know by now we love us some Bianca Belair on this podcast. Okay? So really funny story I just wanted to share really quick. So on Twitter Monday, I'm sure you guys saw, or Friday. Yes, Friday already. Bianca comes out and cuts a hell of a promo. But she comes out looking great. And so I'm on Twitter, and I think I may have just tweeted like Bianca. And I put the video of her. And one of our followers, Aaron Cash, tweets to me that she's mid.
Oh.
And then he adds our Twitter and says, "Do the poll." I do a lot of polls on Twitter, and he put just Becky or Bianca. That was it. So I retweeted it and said, "Hey everybody, please let Aaron know that Bianca clears Becky." I've never seen such a lopsided poll in my entire life. Have you seen this? Have you seen this poll? Rhodesia saw it, so I'm not going to ask her. Okay, what do you think the percentage was in this poll between Becky or Bianca? What do you think the percentage was?
I'm gonna go 70 Bianca.
And are we talking about? You said something about. Are we judging based off of? Are we objectifying them off their body or off their ring work, or both? Or was it left for interpretation?
The poll is closed already, so you can't ask those type of questions.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
So, Eshaun, you said 70.
I'm going 70 Bianca.
81% Bianca, 19% Becky. Aaron, get out of here with that, man. No way in the world you think Becky looks better than Bianca.
But thanks for the engagement.
I just have never seen a poll that had that much discrepancy. If you have that much discrepancy, you shouldn't even have the poll done. I thought that
Aaron,
was funny, though.
Hey, I just want to let you know, we can't be friends, man, with that kind of stuff, man. We can't.
But I appreciate the engagement. Thank you. Thank you for being engaging.
No,
and then his response was like, said, "You really, what do you say? You really know your audience."
Yeah, that's what he said. Shout out to him.
Hey, but to be honest with you, I think Becky's really, really, really pretty. I do. I think she's really pretty. And I think
she is. Cake. So, are we going to? Can we have some like honest talk right now, or are we trying to keep this PC, or not PC, but
I'll answer that question based off your question.
You just keep everything even keel. You don't tell your true feelings.
Non-controversial.
Non-controversial. I don't even know if this is a controversial take or not.
Oh, I gotta mark this one down. Hold on.
You can mark it, but it's no point. It's no need. It's no need. I saw a lot of hate towards Zoe Stark from last week's Raw with her segment with Becky. They were going back and forth on the mic. Are we going to just gloss over the fact that Becky's not the best promo anymore like she used to be?
Oh, I thought she was about to talk about something else. Lord have mercy.
I had to mark it. I'm like, you know what? I learned in the past about deleting some of these. Like, if I delete certain things, he's not even going to know.
I am a respectful young man out here in these streets. I'm just asking because everybody loves Becky. I didn't see anybody bringing this up. Becky's not the best on the microphone right now. I don't know what happened.
You talking about one bad promo?
No, I'm talking about the countless bad promos leading up to Mania. And remember, I came out here and said, maybe she's trying to give more oomph, more fire to the build than what it is. So she's overcompensating.
I thought I was the one who felt that way. And y'all were saying that she had like the best promos of the week during that timeline.
Well, she had one. It was one really, really good one. She had one really, really good one. She had a really strong one against Trish the week before the Saudi show.
That's the table one. The table scene,
where she
right?
finished it with
Dog,
the woof, woof, bitch.
Yeah,
yep.
woof woof.
But that one was cringe-worthy against.
It's not like she was losing her train of thought a little bit.
Yeah.
I can relate.
It was
He said I
you don't
can
get paid for
relate.
it, sir. You don't get paid like that.
We about to get paid. We about to start getting
yeah.
paid for these 2 shows a week, right?
But yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because nobody talked about it. But I was like, "Ooh, that's." She was just as bad as Zoe was.
Dang.
Look, that wasn't her finest hour, but I don't think I want to go down the road to saying that she's a bad promo. I think she's a good promo. I think she can carry a segment. She usually can, carry a segment in a segment. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm already becking right now. She's fine. I'm already. She's fine. Like I don't think she's bad.
Could it be though also just who she's going against? So we're not really invested. So she's probably trying to overcompensate. Could that
she's
be a
supposed to
thing?
carry. She's supposed to carry it on the mic. I think it's fine.
Yeah, you're supposed to, and she has it. And I just want to bring it up. And I see y'all don't want to agree with me. That's fine. We can move on.
I actually don't watch a lot of her stuff anyway. So, but what I was trying to say about SmackDown, and this is only be 10 seconds because we said that we're going to support them, and we're not going to ever talk bad about it again. But come on, Top Dollar. The gauntlet match. That's what Matthew used to call the gauntlet match. A gauntlet match. They was still singing Hit Row, and he got pinned. Like, what? Do they hate Top Dollar in Hit Row? When you was told in Gorilla, you're going to go out there and you're going to get pinned before your song is done playing, the 2 words of your song is still playing, what did he think and say?
But their TV time was almost more than anybody else because they were out there from the beginning of the show.
Okay, that's the silver lining. I'll take that. That's all I have to say.
Say, hey, you guys got 19 minutes on SmackDown this week. Oh, really? Yep. How much ring time? 10 seconds. But you're going to be right around the ring. Make it work.
Last one. Why Uncle Al, AJ Styles, calling Scarlett a bitch?
That was rough. Oh, man.
He said, I'm married, bitch. He doesn't even cuss like that.
Man.
Rhodesia,
Rhodesia, Matt and I were talking about that in text. I was like, man. I was like, why did he go like that? I was like, he doesn't even cuss.
Like, right. Yeah, like shoot style. If you guys don't know, AJ Styles does not cuss. Like, he'll say freaking and all that. So when he said that, I was like, whoa.
He's a frick master.
Uncle Al killed that.
Yeah, like, wow, there must be some heat.
I got one last thing for WWE before we move on to AEW. Interview came out today from LA Knight, and really good interview. He had some good quotes in there. But one of the things he said was he was turned into Max Dupree because there was a worry about his age. I think LA Knight is only 40 years old.
I'm pulling it up.
So I understand Vince's thought process of you're starting at the ground floor at 40 years old. I get that. I get that. If Vince is looking at, I'm trying to find our next big star. I understand thinking that if you're 40, you probably got some wear and tear. How much longer do you really have?
Right.
But that just shows age should not be indicative of anything when it comes to how talented you can be or you are. This man is going to be, I'm going to say, it is June right now. I'm going to say by October, he is a top 5 face in the company by far. If they plan on pushing him. I still got a little bit of worry about that. Logan Paul came in, and I think now it's Logan Paul's briefcase to win that Money in the Bank. And it makes perfect sense to put it on Logan Paul.
Did we explain, though, like how that happened? Did I miss that part of Raw? Of how he just went in there and got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's Logan Paul, right? Whatever.
Got it. Okay. Got it.
If we're not paying attention to the draft, you best believe I don't give a damn about how Logan Paul got
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
All right? But that's crazy, though, that Vince... And it's not just a Vince thing, because once again, I get it. I understand. But it's crazy because of his age. We almost missed out on LA Knight. And we would have had to seen him as a manager named Max Dupree, which is a completely different gimmick than what LA Knight is.
Yeah, and the models are almost over, so.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. All right, so you asked about Collision. We were in the building on Collision on Saturday. I think Rhodesia has a lot more notes than I do. You guys saw the show, so we won't even really need to touch on it unless you guys want to touch on it. But for me, just a couple of live perspective things that may not have come across on TV. Number one, this was the first AEW show that we had been to since Thanksgiving Eve of last year. So that was at the Wintrust Arena where Dynamite was this past week. They ran United Center for Collision. So that was old stage, all that. The old stage, to me, was great when they first started. We talked about this when they upgraded their staging. But it screamed like, we're just happy to be here. This new stage looks every bit of, we are here and we are big time.
High end production.
Stage, yep, the Collision stage was the same stage they used for Double or Nothing. So it's a little bit different than the one they used for Dynamite. But if you would have plopped anybody who's never seen AEW and just said, hey, does this feel like big time? They would say yes. They had spotlights throughout the arena, which they never did that I can remember for back in the day. They really upped the production value, and it looked fantastic in there. Looked absolutely fantastic. The crowd, a little bit different crowd than what I'm used to from an AEW show.
How so?
A lot of LA Knight, yeah, chants.
Yeah.
That was never a thing previously. A lot of woos.
Mm-hmm.
Typically wasn't a thing at AEW shows. So it was now granted, this was the Collision show. So this is the show after they sold the majority of their tickets for Dynamite. Who knows what type of crowd this is? Maybe we're only here for CM Punk. Maybe this is, I don't know. Who knows, right? But I noticed that for sure. What else from that you guys probably didn't see on TV? They had about 8,500 people in the crowd, which is a super strong number considering they had just sold 6,000 seats for Dynamite. You know, so that was good to see. But it was the Punk show. Everybody was there for Punk for the most part. Punk got some boos in the beginning. They started seeing Punk chant before the show went live. You heard some boos. Boos really weren't there when Punk came out. Same thing happened last night. There was a mention of Punk. Somebody started CM Punk chant before Dynamite went in the air. There were some boos, not any boos when he came out for his run-in at the beginning of the show, which I really enjoyed the way they did that run-in too. What else? What did you have for Collision?
As far as the in-person being there, outside of the fans being loud from beginning to the end, you pretty much hit the nail on everything. That stage is, again, high-end production. Like you said, you deserve to be here now. You deserve to have this show. You mentioned about the boos. So I think Punk probably had maybe one or two boos in the beginning, and I was one of those boos.
These are hate Punk.
I will go on the record and I'll eat my words because I said I don't ever want to see CM Punk back in AEW again. But clearly, oh my God, it's best for business. I mean, just being in that room and how electric it is and seeing him for a hot second last night or 2 nights ago, whenever that was, for Dynamite, it was electric. And you can't deny that. So again, like I said, I will eat my words publicly on this show right now, but I was just like, boo. And then for me, I'm angry because how is he able to air his dirty laundry on Collision? And I feel like my boys, the Elite, the Young Bucks, Kenny, didn't have that same opportunity. Yeah, they have their show, being the Elite or whatever, and they can have their little subliminal messages. I just felt like when Punk first came out, as an Elite fan, I just thought that he was kind of out of line for that. Now, again, what have I expected from Punk? Nothing less. If I was
Hold on. So now I got to rewind your memory bank.
Yep.
Go back in your memory bank.
Okay.
So are you telling me Thanksgiving Eve, downtown Chicago, where the entire Elite match was trolling CM Punk in the Chicago crowd. You forgot about?
But they weren't actually using real words like that. That's completely different.
So you completely forgot about that?
No, I didn't completely forget about that.
Go back and watch that match.
No, you're talking about the moves that they were doing
and
the fake go to sleep and stuff. I do remember the match. I remember the match. I'm not coming back to the pod. Hell to the no. Like I said, I said what I said. I said what I said. I said what I said. Cody, God dog, you got CM Punk up here.
So you don't like Cody? Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Oh my goodness.
I can't stand the two of y'all.
You can't stand Cody and CM Punk. Don't worry about us.
I'm like, we sit there
trying to put on a podcast.
Whatever. Point is, okay, I didn't like that because I am an Elite fan. I did not like his little tirade that he went on. I love his cadence of the stop me when I'm lying. Or tell me when I'm lying. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I loved his promo. I loved everything except for what he said. And again, what did I expect out of CM Punk? I guess really nothing other than what we got. And the fans went crazy for him. We heard so many fuck the Elite chants on Wednesday, and we even heard some, or on Saturday, and we even heard some fuck the Elites on Wednesday, which was great because they weren't in the building. Like, for us to see the Elites. And I think they protected the Elites really well too. I think on TV they had them showing that backstage scene, right?
Yeah.
I know they showed it to us, but I didn't know if they showed it on TV. But yeah, so they were in the back and we heard a couple of fuck the Elite chants there. But overall, they did not let them come out. I think last time they were here in November, I don't think they came out, did they? Oh, no. Cool. They did have a match. They haven't, sorry.
Remember the match I just told you to
go back and watch?
You confused your hatred of CM Punk for Cody Rhodes. Remember that whole thing that just happened?
Yeah.
Eshaun, you watched it at home. Give me your thoughts about Collision as a show. I put just a quick tweet up Sunday morning, I think it was. Just my quick thoughts from the actual show was, I said, I thought the show was awesome live. Mm-hmm. Awesome live. I watched it Sunday. I thought it translated to being a very good to great show on TV. The matches were awesome, especially Andrade and Buddy. We knew that though. We talked about that was going to be the match
fire.
We looked most forward to. But I said my only gripe was it just felt like another really good wrestling show. And I felt like we needed more than that. Come to find out, which I don't care about this match either way. Kenta originally was supposed to be the final storyline, the end of Collision. Punk was supposed to, that match was supposed to happen. They win. Kenta was supposed to run in, attack Punk, and now it's supposed to set up Forbidden Door. So that would have been the hook that I probably was looking for. But I was missing that, okay, I need to tune in next week. Man, what's making me watch this show every Saturday outside of because I love CM Punk or I just love wrestling? And I felt like we didn't get that Saturday. What was your thoughts about the actual show? And did they do enough to hook you where you're like, hey, I'm going to just make sure, I may not watch it live, but they got me watching every week?
It was a good question. I'm going to definitely answer that because I actually wanted to ask you guys the same question. But right before I get into my television thoughts, I do want to say, hey, guys, if you haven't seen the Twitter, check it out. Matt has a couple of awesome clips up there. He has Karen being a Karen on the Twitter, right? I thought that was really funny. It's like, hey, what's up with Karen? Oh, Karen is being a Karen. I thought that was phenomenal. And another quick thing, very, very cool. If you guys want a little surprise, a little spoiler, I'm not going to call it out on the show. He has that also on the Twitter.
Yes.
Is that what they
made their return?
The
Twitter?
The Twitter.
And I thought it was really cool for me. I'm doing the show with my friends. So I'm at work and I'm on MSN trying to log into my company's webpage, and they have articles. And one of the articles was AEW surprise on former WE talent surprise, yada yada. I'm like, oh, I don't care. I want to click see what the surprise is. And lo and behold, it's a wrestling site, and they have quoted our Twitter front and center this surprise. That was a big moment for me to see us providing the wrestling world with wrestling news, guys. More to come, right? That's just the start of things. So, hey, thank you for supporting our show and making these things possible. It was an awesome surprise for me to see that. But going into my TV experience, one thing that I was looking for when I was watching the show for the show to feel different than Dynamite, and it felt different to me. And we got that with a different and all new creative team, Kevin Kelly and Nigel.
Oh boy, yes, that was yes. Sorry to step on you. Yeah. Yes.
And that was a really nice surprise. I don't think they announced that they were going to have a different announcement. I don't know who I thought was going to announce the team. I guess I just assumed it was going to be Excalibur and somebody, right? But we got Kevin Kelly and we got Nigel, and that was an awesome surprise. The show from start to finish seemed like a different show. Like the cadence of the show seemed different to me, and which was a good thing. Really enjoyed it from top to bottom. It just seemed like it had a different feel to the show. Matches were great. With the commentary, it still took me a little time to get used to it. I'm not sure if I was used to Excalibur and the way he calls the AEW show, but it took me kind of a minute to kind of get used to Kevin Kelly and Nigel. But I was right there for the CM Punk interview. The counterfeit Bucks line was hilarious to me.
Oh, I booed right there. I was like, boo.
I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, oh man, Punk has to get one of those things out, right? I thought it was actually very cool. I'm not sure if you guys noticed it, watching it live during the time, but seeing CM Punk take off the AEW logo on that microphone.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Right? Letting us know that he's about to get real. He did that many of times in WWE.
He
so
sure
that
did.
Was pretty cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
This was a very, very enjoyable show. But to answer your question, and I'm glad you asked, because I was going to ask you guys. I was hoping that you actually saw the show on television.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now it's props to AEW. They got a huge rating for the show. Over 800,000 fans tuned in to watch that show. However, upon watching this show, I just don't think it's a show I think it's going to do consistently well in that time slot. You got to be a super fan to watch this show regularly on a Saturday night from 8 to 10. I just don't think the show is going to catch the average viewer every week. And that's from actually really enjoying the show, enjoying the production, enjoying the changes that they made. And I'm thinking the show can only get better. I think they're only going to get better creatively. I think you saw a little bit of difference with the creative team on that show. I think it's only going to get better. It's only going to get in full groove. But I just don't think that show has enough oomph to consistently make me want to watch it on a Saturday night. Sure, I'm going to watch it on Sunday, so I hope that helps the show with ratings and whatever they're trying to get. But at the end of the day, I want to ask you guys, do you think it's a show that's going to continue to get over 800,000 viewers? Because at the end of the day, you got to think about what is WBD, whatever their name is, what they're looking for out of this show, right? Are they looking for them simply just to double the ratings they were previously getting that time slot? I mean, I'm sure AEW is going to do that. So maybe they're not looking for that show to get close to 1 million viewers every week, right? Just to double the time slot.
If they're not getting a meal on Wednesdays, they're damn sure not going to get a meal consistently on Saturdays.
Or even close to it.
And that's the thing. We don't know what the number was. I know when Dynamite first started, there was a number floating around of 500K is what TNT was expecting. And, of course, they're still blowing that number out the water. So they're going to be happy with it. Who knows what they're looking for? I think whatever number they're looking for, though, they're probably going to get.
I would imagine, too.
Yeah.
From WBD perspective, I believe so, yeah.
Yep.
You would think they have a realistic expectation around what they think the show can do on a Saturday night in that time slot, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw somebody had put up something quick earlier today just about how wrestling's a premium for television. They were talking about the USA Network. And I guess if you pull WWE off of the USA Network, they would be like one of the bottom networks or something like that from a ratings perspective. Now, granted, WWE's getting, between 1.5 and 1.8 million viewers every week. But it's interesting that you kind of had the same thoughts.
But you also say that it felt a little different, though. And see, for me, you asked did we watch it back on TV. I really didn't watch it back on TV, but I did hear the commentary because I wanted to see how it came across. And now the commentary did sound different to me, and I actually really enjoy the commentary. But being live at that show, I think Matt and I were talking, I just felt like it was a really great Dynamite. To me, it was no difference. Now, like I said last week, I need a couple of episodes of Collision to let you know if I'm going to make sure I watch it outside of us doing a show that we have to report on it or talk about it. Would I actually make it appointment viewing? I want to give it at least a couple of weeks before I answer that part of the question. But to me, it was a great show. I loved all the matches, but it did, to me, live, it didn't feel different.
I think it came with the production and the commentary.
Okay.
Is where it really fit. Because, but I'll be honest with you, tell you this though, I would much rather watch Collision than Dynamite. To be honest with you, if I could somehow switch those shows, I would much rather watch Collision and its presentation than Dynamite right now. Because I enjoy Collision much more than Dynamite last night. To be honest with you.
And then tell us why you say that. Are you strictly basing that off of, because we're talking about one show, so are you basing that off of Punk's gonna be on Saturdays, the commentary team, and House of Black? Because I know you're huge House of Black fans, or is it more than that? I
think it's everything. And like what did CM Punk call himself? One Bill Phil? Like, right? I didn't get it when he said it. I didn't get it when he said it in the moment, right? Like, I didn't know what he was talking about. But the rumor was that, CM Punk helped the company get a $1 billion deal,
right? Network
for these shows. So they call them One Bill Phil. CM Punk is money. I mean, like he definitely. I have been saying it, right? That the AEW need like a shot in the arm. I think CM Punk is that. Like he injected some energy into that show that we haven't had in quite some time. He did it for Collision. He did it, for a brief moment on Dynamite. I like the overall show flow. As I said, like the show flowed a little differently than Dynamite does. On top of the stars that they had on the show. And although if this is going to be a soft launch, if I'm going to consistently see Miro, I'm going to consistently see Punk on the show. If I'm going to consistently see Andrade on the show, Thunder Rosa, jury's still out with Thunder Rosa. I wasn't really a fan of her title run. But I'm going to see all my favorites on this show in this new structured creative with a little bit different. Because Kevin Kelly tells a wrestling story a little bit different than Excalibur, right? Excalibur is big on, telling the history of the wrestlers and really going into the moves. Where Kevin Kelly's almost kind of old school. He's trying to tell a story about the actual match itself, which is very appreciative. I just like the little things that they did differently on Collision. And I think it's great. I just wish it was on a different night.
So, where does that leave Wardlow? That was a terrible transition, wasn't it? Anyways, I just wanted to ask that because that was fresh on my mind.
Hey, Matt, what did I text you? Like about? No. Okay, actually, sometimes I forget you guys are live. It was the next night. It was the next day. I didn't watch Collision. I said, I hope I never see Wardlow touch that title ever again. And what are they doing with him?
I cannot believe they flipped the belt again.
Yeah.
What are they doing with him in that title?
That belt
I don't get
tainted.
it. When I say I don't get it, I don't get why they're doing it to Wardlow. I think we have a chance of doing a fantastic story if Christian thinks he won the championship.
Because he damn near celebrated that he did.
Right?
That's going to be great TV. Yep. Love it. But why do it at the expense of Wardlow?
Again.
He is dead, man. Like, and he got a really good response from the crowd, too, which I was surprised about. They were there for him the entire match. They were there for him the entire match. I throw my hands up. I don't know.
They have to be. All right, we're going to rebuild this character. It's not working. It's not working. And here's the thing. I think he's fine with the haircut, but man, I feel like it's like Samson.
Man, he ain't been the same since.
He has not been the same since.
He has not been the same.
Yeah. Nope.
Right? He doesn't look the same. Like it's physically he doesn't look the same.
No.
He doesn't have. It's like he cut his hair and it's like he lost all his superpowers. Like I hope. Look. I don't know if the plan was to rebuild him, but I hope it is because he's dead in the water.
Yeah,
he's dead. He lost the title 3 times already now.
Especially because the loss made no sense. That was a match we just found out about a few days before that show. It was, you know what I mean? It wasn't like it was something they were building towards. And the match was strong too. That was a really good match.
Oh yeah.
It sucks, man. It sucks because I am so high on Wardlow, but
I used to be.
Yeah, I don't get
used
it.
To be.
To your point earlier, E, you were talking about Collision, and if I had to bet, or if I had to just only pick one show, I don't know which one I would pick, but they have such a strong lineup. I mean, this week, Tanahashi versus Swerve, Brody King versus Andrade, Willow versus Nyla Rose, and then CMFTR and Ricky Starks versus the Gun Club and Bullet Club Gold. That is a hell of a lineup. Yeah. It really, really is. So,
and what do we get on Dynamite? We got Action Andrade and, you know, Dante Martin. Not Dante. It's not Dante. Darius Martin. AR Fox versus, you know, Budico, Sammy Guevara, and what's my man's name?
He said Budico. No, he didn't say that. I know.
Talking about Suzuki?
Yeah, Suzuki. Like, right? If you're into Suzuki,
I guess that might have been a big
match. But, you know, against the Job Squad, come on.
That match was great, man. Nobody probably didn't pay attention to the match. But I remember sitting there during that match. I actually said to Rhodesia, I said, I wonder if this show is coming across as good on TV as it is live. Because last night was also another really strong show being there live.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, though. I get it's a good match, right? And AEW is going to give you a good match. But true to what Rhodesia was saying earlier in the day, right, about Dominic, who people actually care about, against Cody. You go into that match, you know that my guys aren't winning that match. You know they're there to give you an entertaining loss. And like at the end of the day, it's about characters and stories. Like, right? Like they're known for great matches. And that's what Dynamite gives you. They're going to give you a bunch of I want some great stories, right? And I think you're going to get more of that on Collision. Because you're on Dynamite, we're just going to get a bunch of, you know, great matches that go nowhere, that doesn't really do anything other than give you a great match. So,
but okay, so just for that, and I know what you're saying overall, but I'll play devil's advocate for that match. We did get a great story. You got Sting at the end of the match coming out with Darby saying that we'll find out who their tag partner is. They accept. We'll find out who their tag partner is going to be on Saturday. So we got that part of it. And it's the go home show for Forbidden Door. So if we have these NJPW talents in our ecosystem right now, let's use them. I can understand if you're not a New Japan fan, as somebody, you don't care about Suzuki, maybe you don't care about Okada, you know what I mean? Tanahashi, you don't care about Tanahashi.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, but like for us that like we know these people and we've been watching them for years and years and years, that was a big deal for me. But I understand what you're saying. Overall,
no, that part was a big deal, but not the job match that led before it. Like we could have shortened that and had something else.
I think, but the majority of the matches though in any promotion is just to get to the next thing. What I mean by that is there is nobody in the world that thinks Finn has a shot against Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank. Not a shot.
Hey, they're trying their damnedest to try to give you that impression though.
Maybe, right? But we know they have no shot. We know he doesn't have a shot. And I think the match is gonna be good. They're building him up the right way. But duly noted. What else? I think Rhodesia, were you saying something else about AEW?
No, not particularly. Just MJF finally got weaseled into taking the Tanahashi match, accepting it by Adam Cole. So I thought that was pretty cool. Sometimes going to these shows live, when they tape two shows, it's kind of hard for you to remember which one was which show. So you don't want to give away something too much. I had to go back and look. But yeah, it's this weekend anyway. So, I mean, just last night, though, was so incredible because we got to see Okada. And I know for some people who probably don't know who he is, they're like, okay, who is this guy? I remember when I first got into like maybe AEW, the independent scene kind of wrestling, there was so many times people will pop for new people. And I'm like, okay, I'm hyped too because I can feel everybody else's energy, but I don't know who the person is. But like when Okada came out, he's like $1 million to me. I mean, when Sonata came out, oh, wait, okay. No, that was Dynamite, right?
That was on Rampage.
Okay, never mind. Well, they'll be hearing it. They'll be seeing it tonight. I'll just end it there. Point is, these are like, I don't want to use the word God, but these are gods coming into the ring and you're getting to see them and you don't get to see them often. So to me, it's anytime I can see Okada, I'm excited.
You know, you can see him every Thursday on that.
I meant like in person. We don't have Access TV. And then something else that happened super cool in Dynamite or Rampage, I guess, but I think it was Dynamite. That'll be part of my TFW moment of the week, though. But that's about it.
You were taking notes after every match. You can't keep your damn notes right of what show was what.
No, I only keep my notes because I get tired of you saying that I won't be remembering stuff. So then I can go back and check my receipts. I can go back and check my receipts. That's what those notes are for. Is for me to go check my receipts.
You're like, damn, I still didn't remember it. You mentioned Adam Cole and MJF.
Yeah,
I am more excited for them being in a tag tournament than I am probably seriously than I am probably anything outside the Bloodline for wrestling right now. I think AEW has such an incredible opportunity with them two being put together
partners
for a few weeks. Even their Schiavone part, what they say, shut the hell up, Schiavone, or shut up.
Yeah, at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.
That was just a little bit of a glimpse of what we can get if they find a way to get on the same page in 1 or 2 or 3 of these matches. I am more excited about that. And yes, that is what you guys know. I'm a story character type person. When I saw that, I was like, incredible. We haven't really had anything like that from AEW before. You know, the whole can they coexist? WWE completely overuses that. We get it a lot. We don't get it from AEW, and I think they're going to do it very smart. Anything MJF does is smart. And it's interesting to think that, like, damn, is Adam Cole working up to MJF's level and not the other way around? Interesting.
That's good. Like, that's good. You were worried about Adam Cole if he's going to be hot enough to stand next to MJF. So I'm glad that you're really feeling it.
Yep. They've done a good job in the last couple of weeks.
And he looks really comfortable too. So that's, I think, just part of like what swagger is about, that you have that confidence in yourself. Adam Cole doesn't look phased at all when MJF is out there.
Oh, no.
At all.
He's been there. Yeah.
Yep.
We're not going to, of course, break down or preview Forbidden Door. To me, I look at it as it's like an all-star game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But I do have a question for you guys. How do you think they come up with who's winning? Do you think like it is known when they who knows how long they've had these matches planned for? I'm going to assume they've had it planned probably for a while. How do you think they decide, as they being Tony and I forgot the guy's name, head of NJPW, who wins Bryan versus Okada? How do you think? Do you think like just how do you guys think they come up with that?
I couldn't even tell you. I would say naturally the 2 big like titles maybe, but Okada and Bryan, they're not even wrestling for a title, so I don't know. I would think that the big titles will stay in New Japan, but they also have a working contract with each other too. And we saw Kenny hold the New Japan title for a while now. He has like the U.S. Championship of New Japan that he's had forever too. So I don't know. I think maybe the big titles stays in New Japan. Everybody else, it's whatever.
Hey, so I gotta be honest with you. So like I'm I do a lot of booking on WWE 2K Universe, so I have experience in this. So Tony Khan, you might want to take some notes. This is what you do. You
Make sure he pays you for it though. First, make sure you pay him.
No, see, like listen. See, I give out free samples.
Oh Lord,
I give out free samples to get your mouth watered.
There you go.
You know,
show me the money.
But when you're thirsty, you know where to come. All right. So let me tell you what. If you look at these matches where they're constructed, right? You got Okada and Bryan. You can kind of guess who's gonna win, lose that match, right?
Who? You tell me.
I think if you look at it, if they need somebody to take a loss, it definitely could be Bryan.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
Because if New Japan said, hey, we're going to build Okada futuristically against Sonata as a champion, we need him to go over strong. Bryan can afford to lose that match, right? You got Sonata, who's the champion, defending against Jungle Boy. Now, do we honestly think that Jungle Boy can beat him for the championship? It could be a nice, awesome surprise if they wanted to be a surprise. But at the end of the day, Jungle Boy could take that loss. And
Sonata had an interview today and said, basically, I don't even know who Jungle Boy is. I don't know why I'm having this match.
Hey, that's real talk. He probably don't. Hey, you know, one thing, I don't know if you guys are familiar with his character. I'm sure you are, Matt.
I love Sonata. But
you know,
Sonata.
He's like his new look as the Japanese version of Ric Flair. He looks it, man. He looks great.
Yep.
You know, and to be honest with you, like, look, you know, I think I've always thought he's a beautiful man.
Oh, he was always fine.
Yeah, he's
he's
always
always
been a beautiful man.
That's why I was a fan of Sonata, because he was easy on the eyes for me.
But you know, he definitely Jungle Boy can take that loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could definitely, what you would think they would do is they say, okay, these are the wrestlers that I'm building something with, and they can't afford to take a loss. Like, who can we match them up against? And so in these matches, it looks like there's people who can definitely take a loss. But if they were to win, it'll definitely be a surprise. But when I'm looking at the card, and we're not going to do it, I think it's definitely you can kind of tell who the winners and losers of these matches are going to be. Still going to be phenomenal matches, but I think you still can kind of tell based on who they're matched up against. Because there's not like we're not seeing Sonata versus MJF, like, right, in a match. Because then, okay, definitely who's going to take that pin, like, right? It's not those matches. They're paired up for a reason.
Yep, should be a good show. That's Sunday.
I do want to know, just for the two, because these are the two that I really truly care about. Who you think is going to win that? I'm going to call it the Fatal 4-Way, where 3 of the championships are up. Or I guess only the AEW International Championship is up, but it's 3 title holders. So Danny Garcia, Orange Cassidy, Shibata, and Zack Sabre Jr. Who do you think is going to win?
Only the International was up for grabs, right?
Only the International, yep.
Yeah, I would imagine that Orange would continue to win. However, all of those guys are working with AEW, so it wouldn't surprise me if he were to lose. I don't think he will. I think I would like to see them run back the Swerve and Orange match at some point. But you know, Zach is under. I don't know if he's under contract, but he's working, you know, with ROH. Sabata is the pure champion. So I mean, any of them could win, but I think you're gonna see Orange.
Okay, I kind of want Danny to win that one because Swerve didn't get it. I kind of want to see Danny get it.
Danny ain't hot.
He is to me. He is to me.
Oh, not that kind of hot. I ain't talking about that now. You understand?
Let's go with a shocker and let's have Zack Sabre win, so he walks into All In his home country as a champ.
Ah, look at you. Okay.
As a champ.
Yep. And lose it because I need that belt on an AEW talent after. But I think that would be a really cool story.
That's so
for
cool.
him to be able to have
what
that
an
belt
ugly
going
title
into.
that television championship he has is. Goodness.
You know what? It looks much better in person than it does on TV.
Does it?
It does. Yeah, it looks much better in person than it does. When I first saw it, I was like, this
because
like
they have it squared to look like
Yeah.
a television, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say like rectangle-ish, but square. I guess.
What a god awful design.
Yeah. And then my last one would be, of course, which I thought was going to be the main event, but it's not, I don't think it is, but between Kenny and Will Ospreay. Besides all of us winning as fans.
Brian is main eventing.
I know that. I just said that.
You said I don't think it is.
Okay.
Oh.
What I'm saying is we all thought, I thought Kenny and Will Ospreay was going to main event, but it came out that they're not the main eventers. So who do you think is going to win out of that?
You know, I think that they're going to run this match back. I think we're going to get a best of 3.
Okay.
Right? And so you can't do a best of 3 without Will finally getting one over on old Kenny. So I'm going to go with Will with a successful win. Or if he doesn't win, it'd be some kind of stupid finish. But at the end of the day, but if you think about it, it can't be a stupid finish because right now Kenny is booked into he's feuding with Callis right now.
Yep.
What's my man's name?
Takeshita.
Yeah.
Take a shit up.
That boy looked like $1 million too in that
big time.
backstage promo.
He's another handsome guy.
Yep, that boy looked like $1 million, man. Give me Kenny's losing. I told you guys Kenny's gonna lose until we get the Golden Lovers back. So he's gonna lose probably maybe due to Takeshita's interference. Maybe I don't want that because that you guys know how high I am on that match from Wrestle Kingdom this past January. Still a top 2-3 match for me of the year. I think they actually surpassed that match. This weekend, I do.
Okay.
And again, I think Will Ospreay takes that belt back to NJPW.
Cool.
Oh, you guys already know who's gonna. Do you guys already know who Eddie Kingston's gonna announce?
Yes.
As a tag team partner? Okay,
yeah, they did at the end of Dynamite. They said it at the end of Dynamite. Yep.
Oh, I thought I was.
I missed that part.
Yeah,
I
go
missed
back
that
and
part.
watch the last 10
Who was
minutes.
it? Tell me
Yep.
who was it?
Ishii.
Tomohiro Ishii.
Ishii is the other. Oh,
Yep, and it was
I
it
thought
was
we was gonna
so
get
good.
the Golden Lovers. No Golden
Oh
Lovers.
no, not yet. No, he's
Because
coming back. He's coming
it makes
back.
sense, right? Because I'm like, well, why would Eddie announce him, right? He doesn't trust him. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yep, and it was cool to just go back and watch it. You'll like the way they did it. It was like so like it felt like a shoot.
Yeah, and it was cool because
between him and Moxley.
Yeah. Because the last 10 minutes when they were coming back for the final segment, we're like, oh, we only have 10 more minutes left. And there was like a lot of things coming up next. So that was a really powerful last 10 minutes of the show.
Last thing on Forbidden Door for me, I think we get numerous surprises on that show.
Numerous?
Yeah, I do. Yep. And I think that it is going to really play in perfectly to All In the UK. And then a week later, All Out, presumably back here in Chicago. So really strong week of AEW TV to hopefully lead to a great weekend here with week 2 of Collision and then Forbidden Door and all, of course, roads lead to All In and Wembley. What else y'all got?
Good.
TFW moment of the week.
TFW moment of the week.
You guys know by now, this is a moment we want to highlight from the past week that we enjoyed. If it is wrestling related, it is up for grabs. My TFW moment of the week comes from Dynamite this week. The Guns did it again, damn it. Gun Club's entrance. Fantastic. I'm a big fan of their music, but I love just how their entrance is shot. It looked super awesome in person. And actually, I think it was Austin who tweeted a couple hours ago that, let me see, because I had retweeted it again. He said that if this tweet gets 1,000 retweets, Tony Khan, you have to give us Mini Men as our permanent entrance.
Yes.
And if you guys remember, they did that back in April, where they came out to 50 Cent's Mini Men, and it was the hardest entrance I have ever seen
in my life.
In AEW. And it is right now up to 2,421 retweets. So we hit 1,000. I don't know if Tony Khan has responded. Let me see real quick.
And we know Tony, he ain't afraid. He ain't afraid to spend money for it. Like what we heard on what was it on Busted Open? I think maybe they talked about the Collision theme song and how much money he paid for it. Hey, you could pay for Mini Man.
Yep, he hasn't responded yet, but he's way past his 1,000 retweets. Get that, Tony.
Yep,
get that
pay
going.
For
that probably will be my TFW moment of the week every single week. They show
for
up
months,
as if it's Mini Man as their entrance. But that was my TFW moment of the week.
So I just knew that you was going to take this one. So I'm not going to say that. I'm going to go with what I planned with. And it is from AEW Dynamite, the 7, I'm on the count of 7, the 7 gyrations of Danny Garcia. He hits this move so hard and feels it so hard in the ring, outside the ring when he's coming in his entrance. So much so that even Orange Cassidy hit it last night too. So his gyration, his little pelvic thrust that he hits, that is my TFW moment of the week. It's so cool to see it in person because every time he hit, the crowd popped and laughed.
Did you really count how many times he did it?
I did.
So you can't keep track on what the hell was on Dynamite or Rampage or what happened on Raw or SmackDown, but you are counting hip thrusts.
Yeah.
It's
the TFW moment of the week. Yeah, and he said it too. He said he's not a wrestler; he's a sports entertainer.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, that was my wife. We'd be having a conversation after the pod goes off, to be honest with you. But
Danny's old enough to be my child. I'm old enough to be his mama.
And so then it probably shouldn't have been your TFW.
No, but it's not a sexual thing. It's him hitting it. No, it's not a sexual thing.
How old do you think
he's like 25?
Like 24.
He's like 25.
He's like 24.
Yeah.
Every single time the fucking show goes off the rails at the end, and it is too late to save it. Man, go ahead.
What are we trying to save from? What are we trying to save from?
you
His
talking
pelvic
about gyrations, and then he could be young enough to be your son. So then why are you counting gyrations?
Because it's not a sexual thing. It is purely just how hype he gets. Just like how hype I get with the Bucks with the guns come out. I'm talking the same thing for Danny. He be killing it.
It's a pelvic thrust though, right? That's meant to
correct
me. Okay.
That's a dance move.
But there is a Daniel Garcia that's 47 years old though. He's an American music video commercial director.
Does he pelvic thrust?
Doesn't say it, but it does say he practices computer animation and graphic design. He's directed videos for such bands as Mates of State, The Go Team, and TV on the Radio. Oh, I know that song. And it was also best music video in 2008 SSW Festival.
Oh my God!
They probably gyrated in that video.
Last week it was Great Pants. This way is pelvic thrust. Hey, I want to go ahead and
she's got some issues, doesn't she?
My TFW moment of the week is how we started the show. It's the Bloodline. We got to finish the show with the Bloodline. It was a great moment. I really super enjoyed that storyline moment we had with the Usos exploding out and kicking Roman Reigns right in the mouth. Phenomenal moment for me as a fan. I didn't expect it. I didn't think we were getting that on that show. So it was even more of a shot that we even got it right when we got it. Great moment, guys. Love it. Want to keep it going.
Wow, the return of Punk was nobody's moment of the week, huh?
Well, I typically follow direction. Technically, SmackDown was last Friday, so it wasn't this week. And I try not to talk about gray sweatpants or gyrations. I get my love and infatuation and appreciation of beautiful
from Bianca
women
Belair
in the actual show, not at the end, to leave a lasting impression on our listeners. Also, too, there's a guy who he died at 80 years old. When I typed in Daniel Garcia wrestler age, his name is Hurasin Ramirez. He died at the age of 80. So rest in peace to Daniel Garcia Ortega. He's actually a wrestler. He's a Mexican luchador. He's also an actor.
See, this is when I'm start doing creative editing with the pod. This is when I'll start fading music out, and I'll just run the credits and the thank yous and the please follows just to cut all this out. So
he died October 31st.
Guys, this is going to come soon. Thank
Mexico
you for
City,
following us as we ramble on and on.
Rest in peace.
During his career, his true identity and closely guarded secret, except to his closest family and friends, more closely guarded than.
Please follow our Twitter. Please follow us on YouTube.
Following his retirement.
Like, follow.
His mask has been used
by
your
others. Friends.
Primarily because Garcia did not own the rights to the name and mask. Garcia, also considered as the most
Thank you, everybody.
luchador
I'm about to sign off if y'all not signing off.
Of his time, and one of the most
iconic
luchadors.